through, drives one in the air, deep right field, it's got a chance, grand slam!
Way back it might be, it could be, Cubs win, Cubs win, Cubs win, holy cow!
The Dingers podcast is on the air. I'm your host, Mitch. I'm here with Kevin and Jeff. The Cubs have been 8-2 in their last 10, have been hot. Back to 3 games, now 3.5 games back after last night's game. But is it crazy that we can talk playoffs again? Like, are we dreaming, or is playoff picture reality? That's kind of what we're going to be talking tonight. The Cubs offense has been hot. Been kind of what's caused this hot stretch is a balanced lineup and been fun to watch. So they must have been using the B4 Bat app. So if you haven't heard of the B4 Bat app, let me explain a little bit more. It's Mitch from the Dingers podcast. Today I want to talk to you about something that's truly transformed the way that I, as a coach, work with young players, and especially my own kids. I'm talking about the B4 Bat app. For those who haven't heard of the B4 Bat app, it is an incredible tool that lets you track your exit velocity, launch angle, and more, all from your iPhone. No fancy bat sensor or expensive equipment needed. Just your iPhone, a tripod, and you're good to go. I use the B4 Bat app daily with my son and daughter, and the results have been phenomenal. It provides valuable data and video feedback that helps fine-tune their swing. My son absolutely loves it. He gets a kick out of watching his videos of his swing and especially enjoys tracking his exit velocity. It's like a game for him, trying to find that perfect launch angle to maximize his exit velocity. For me, it's been amazing to see how much this app has really helped improve their swings. And that immediate feedback and data that they get are a game changer. So if you're looking to get that valuable data and insight for your own slugger and for them to hit maybe some more dingers this season, I highly recommend checking out B4 Batting app. You can go to b4.app.com or search B4 Batting in the App Store. Trust me, you and your kids will love it. Now, let's get back to hitting some more dingers. Yeah, so make sure you're checking out the B4 Bat app. It's a great app. Helpful with all those young players. Could be helping the Cubs be able to hit Skenes tonight because it's been rough going. Cubs had the bases loaded in the first and in the second and came away with nothing. That was after last night's crushing defeat. So let's start there. Let's talk about last night a little bit. Cubs are up 3-0 heading into the 8th. Lopez comes into the game, gives up a little blooper single, gives up another little single that Paredes, no third baseman would have made that play. And then a home run, and then 2 batters to tie it up. Then 2 batters later, another home run to put the Pirates up. And then they add on in the 8th or in the 9th, and Cubs lose 5-3. I know for me, that was crushing. Going into the 8th, I'm thinking, okay, we're going to be back two and a half games back with what, 25, 26 games left?
Yeah, getting close.
Like this is doable. This is doable again. Like all like they keep doing this. They keep like reeling you back in. And then it just like last night reminded me so much of like the Guardian series that the Cubs had. And if you don't remember that game 1, they were ahead going into the 8th inning of that game and blew the lead. And then they ended up getting swept and kind of put them back 6 games really, really quick. And here they are now 3.5 games back. You're facing Skenes. What inning is it? What are we in now? We're recording live on Monday. What inning is it right now? 6th inning. And you're down 2-0. And the Mets are up and the Braves are up right now.
Oh, the stars are not aligning right now for us, Mitch.
Well, it's just it's been kind of how the season has gone.
Yeah, it has. I mean, it's totally doable for the Cubs to make the playoffs, but everything just has to fall into place. The Cubs need to keep winning series, and we need the Braves and the Mets to keep losing series. But they're both winning tonight, and we're losing tonight. Which, if you would have told me that after 5 innings we'd only be down 2-0 to a game that Paul Skenes started, and we started Kyle Hendricks, and then we put Drew Smiley out there, and we're only down by 2. It's amazing.
If you're like, how is a guy who does a Cubs podcast get names wrong? You haven't been listening to all of our episodes because Jeffrey is just not really good with names of players. For a whole season,
especially players he doesn't like.
He called Eric Dale. He did like Kyle Hendricks, but now since he's playing bad this season,
I actually went to school with the Jason Hendricks.
Okay, that's probably why.
It came out of my subconscious.
What killed me last night, and I tweeted this out, is you're up 3-0. You take the lead. In the 7th inning, you get a leadoff double with Horner. And there was a ball, I can't remember who was up to bat. It would have been, who would have been after Horner? I think Swanson was up. And there was kind of a wild pitch. The ball got away significantly from the catcher, enough for Horner to make it to third. And that was with 0 outs. Horner should have been on third. He should have been getting a good secondary and picking that ball up in the dirt and getting over there with the ball getting that far. Horner's fast enough, you could just steal the base straight up. I know you don't want to make that out at third base, but like, you've got to start playing aggressive baseball. And like that was the difference right there. You'd have been up 4-0 going into the 8th rather than 3-0. I mean, even if Lopez gives up that 3-run home run,
you're still up by a run.
Yeah, that one really got me.
Yeah. It's missed opportunities last night, especially since Jameson pitched a gem, 7 scoreless. I don't know how we blow that game, and then like a game like tonight when we have our 2 not great pitchers pitch in the game and we're only down by 2 runs, and we still have an opportunity to win with 3 more innings after this one to play. You gotta seize the day, Cubbies.
And the Pirates bullpen has not been very strong. So like, it makes you like, it's one of those where like, because of the month of May and June that we had and us playing so poorly, that taste of that is still in my mouth of like, yeah, we're not going to come back. But out of the last 10 games, almost all of those games that in that hot stretch that we've had, all of them have been comeback wins. All of them.
Yeah. Did you hear, like, the Pirates month of August, they were 8-18, and on their 3-bus convoy going from Chicago to Milwaukee, one of the bus drivers got pulled over for an OWI. Did you hear that?
What?
Buccos being Buccos.
Jim Deshays was talking about it, like, during an inning, and I'm like, and they had a police escort, too.
Guy figured he just had to follow the lights.
How do you get chanked when you're a motor coach driver for a professional baseball team with a police escort? My Lord.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah, I don't know. You're talking about, is this a fantasy or is this real? And they pull me just in enough to be like, oh, I can see it. They're going to keep this hot stretch going. They're going to hit the playoffs at a sprint and keep going. But then, just like you said, Mitch, they lose that game last night, and now I'm going, they could get swept. Like, and if they get swept, that just feels like, May and June, and then they're like, they've got to be out of it. As much as I'm a baseball fan, I've never truly understood the whole magic number system and how that works. And I was like, I wonder what.
No, it's like Reaganomics.
Right.
You can't figure it out.
Right. And so I'm like, okay, I know we're in the hunt for the wild card and there's a lot of games left, but like, we've also got to be in this. If we lose too many games, we've got to be out. Like, we're on that, like, riding that line, but I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. Unfortunately, like, our hot pitcher, like, I just saw Pete Crow just got out. Like, he had been so hot and he's struggling right now.
Yeah. a month ago, I think it was Ian and I had a podcast, just Ian, Man, and I, and we talked about how what the Cubs were missing was that there are a bunch of C-listers. We need to find A-listers for this team to be successful. So I'll pose that same thing. Do we really need a star for this team to be playoff worthy or push for a World Series ring? Because what I've seen the last month is really three things changed in this lineup. And that was PCA figured things out. Amaya and Bethport were serviceable behind the dish and at the plate. And Dansby Swanson started hitting the ball. Like, those three things changed. And then our lineup became really deep and really successful because we played small ball. We had power when we needed it. And Paredes started figuring it out. Like, it got really deep. And then we just started playing really good baseball because our pitching was great. Our bullpen has been looking rock solid. And we're a totally different baseball club. So do we need that star, or do you need to, like, not saying that we have to like mimic other teams, because I think that's been used almost too much. Like, oh, the Cubs are a big market team and they're trying to play like that. It's like, no, it's like there are many ways to win baseball games and be successful as a team. And
Right.
You've seen the Padres do it for a whole bunch of years, where they went out and bought a whole bunch of guys and they still had 3 or 4 spots that were weak and they didn't make the playoffs. And so it's like,
right.
What are your guys' thoughts?
Well, I kind of look at it like how the Yankees buy all the time. I mean, just they spend exorbitant amounts of money on contracts for guys, and they don't win a World Series every year. They sometimes don't make the playoffs, or they don't go very deep. I think a lot of it is a team playing as a team and coming together, and everybody kind of playing their role and doing their part. Like when Dansby wasn't hitting and PCA was struggling at the plate and Amaya was terrible at the plate, it's shaky behind the plate. It's just made winning harder. But when they started to play better, winning became easier.
Yeah, I mean, just like PCA, give you some numbers. In his last 30 games, 17 RBIs, he's batted .320, a .926 OPS, 8 stolen bases, 4 home runs. Like, the dude has been probably one of the best hitters in the last month. Last 32 games, I think he has the best hitter in the National League.
I believe I saw that
He's been on a tear
on the internet the other day.
You put that together with Dansby Swanson, who we expected this to be him. Like, it's kind of been a flip-flop for Dansby. Like, last season, he started off really, really hot and then trailed off. This season, he started off really, really cold and now has gotten hot towards the end. It's like, next year, are we just going to get like a consistent Dansby? Like, that's what we need. And like, I don't know, like Bethancourt seems to be able to hit Skenes, and Skenes ain't leaving the NL Central for a while. I think we should just keep a Skenes killer in our lineup for the next couple of years, just to have that guy that every time Skenes pitches, we have Bethancourt in the lineup.
Right.
And he's been good behind the plate. Like, he picked off a guy tonight at first. In Amaya, since changing his batting up like a little bit, his leg kick, like he's been rock solid. Like, he's figuring out. So like it makes the front office have some questions. Are you going to try to fill that spot with somebody in the offseason? Or are you going to just ride out Amaya next year? Because he's made the improvements. He's done what you've asked. Like, you've asked him to make adjustments, and he did, and he got better. Or are they going to pull a David Ross in, like, you did some adjustments, but still weren't good enough. You're gone. We're getting somebody else.
Yeah. And I wonder, it would not surprise me if they don't go get a star catcher, because they also have Ballesteros at at Iowa, and I think they want to give him enough time down there to see can the catching catch up to the bat. And at the same time, how much production do you usually get from a catching from the catching position is another thing to consider. I don't know. It's just has seemed like the whole team is playing really good complementary baseball. Somebody's getting on base, the next person's moving them over. They're going a lot of first to thirds on singles. They're getting a guy all the way to third base, and then it seems nobody's pushing. I was just noticing the other day we haven't had very many dingers on our dinger picks in a while. But we're still putting up 14 runs and 9 runs a game, like these giant like football score games, and it's not based on the dinger. Yeah. No. And I think Bethancourt had a 7 RBI game like last week at one point. I mean,
the big comeback game against the Pirates. I watched that game during my professional development. It was great.
Nice. Yeah, I'm with you, Mitch. I'm wondering where would you put a star in this lineup? Like what hole would they fill in?
I mean, in a big cloud is and a big cloud is hanging over this team, and his name is Cody Bellinger because he has an opt-in, and if he opts in, one that doesn't free up money for us to spend, and that takes a spot that you can't like. It's like, okay, are you gonna have Saya be the DH next year and then Bellinger be the right fielder? Because PCA is basically taking up
center.
So really you have no spot besides if you're going to trade Horner and fill in at second, but you have Shaw waiting in the wings. So like now you have no spots really for another guy besides catcher. And there aren't many star catchers out there available. So you basically like, okay, we're going to do it again. We're just going to run this team back out there and see if things get any better the third time around. That's basically what we worked ourselves into. So I know there's a lot of people like, yeah, whatever, great this season, but I'm really looking forward to 2025. Whatever happens this season, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I'm looking to 2025. Well, it's like we're still going to back ourselves. We could back ourselves in a corner and really run the same team out. The only way we could improve is go out and get another solid starting pitching, which maybe Corbin Burns or whoever else. But that's the only way we could really
get better,
improve, because there's no other spots where we can.
No, and if Bellinger opts in, what's that do to like somebody like Mike Tauchman?
Well, he hasn't played much. I would say right now, Mike Tauchman. I don't even know why Patrick Wisdom's still on the team. Like Patrick Wisdom should not be getting at bats. Right. That's where I would rather have an Owen Casey or Bonisteros or like taking those at bats because like.
Well, now it's 5-0, so this game may have just gotten out of hand.
Yeah. I wonder too, like, will Horner be traded this offseason to make room for Shaw? Because I think Shaw seems to me next season he's going to be banging on the door and saying, hey, I'm ready to come up. But at the same time, we have, I don't know, it feels like we have 3 or 4 outfielders at AAA ready to make a step up too, potentially. I don't know. It seems crowded, but it's also not crowded with like, not all those positions are genuine star caliber. Like they're not Paul Skenes ready to come up and fill a starting pitching role. They're like, hey, let's go see Shaw is going to be the second baseman of the future. Let's go ahead and get him in the lineup. Owen Casey's been knocking on the door. I feel bad I saw, what was the game the other day? The Cubs were up huge and I saw Luis Vasquez came in. I'm like, how long's he been with the big club? Like
he's been up
like he's not getting
4 days, 5 days, and he hasn't played at all.
Yeah. Right.
I think that's why they don't want to call up Owen Casey right now, is because they don't want him to call him up and then not play. But if they're out of it, then it doesn't matter. Right now, they're like, they've been in it enough that they're not going to call him up and sit him when they want to win games. But it's like, because now if you lose this game, now you're down 4.5 games.
Yeah.
Like that's.
How many times is your TV going to replay that last home run, Mitch?
I know. It was like 4 times. rubbing it in. And like, I don't want to say that like, it's just like the playing with a sense of urgency. Like this club, like they did there for a while, but even last night when you really need it, that urgency of like Horner needed to be on third base in that situation. The other day there was a game that like
they're kind of resting on their laurels.
Well, it was, what game was it? It was a close game. We lost the game. And here what's Boog is talking in the 9th inning about pickleball or some dumb thing. It's like, read the room, buddy. Like, sorry, we're in a playoff race. How about you lock in and talk about what's going on instead of some pickleball tournament that's going on in Australia? Like, there's times when like I get really sick of listening to Boog. Like, I, for the most part, like him as an announcer, but I want more of a homer and more urgency from our announcing crew, some urgency in our managing, some urgency in our players to like know when to turn it on and get locked in to try to win a game. Like, 'cause we need to, like, we're 4.5 probably after this tonight. Like, it's time to go. If there's any time to go, it's now. Like, it should have been a month ago.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. Like, I want to say that was the Toronto game. We lost 1-0, something like that. Maybe not Toronto, but yeah, there've been some weird segments they've pulled up, and they're like chatting through an inning, and they're not even like talking about the game at all, and nothing even related to the game. And it's like, you do realize you're in like a playoff push, right? Like, like I'm kind of confused on what's going on here. I mean, it's not Bob Barker out there, talking about another pitch that's way outside the zone or whatever. Like, what's going on?
Barker. I think about having cats spayed and neutered.
We did see the return of Jordan Wicks and pitched a great game on his birthday. With Wicks coming back, Ben Brown probably won't make a comeback this year. We look at the rotation. You're going to have Steele. Hopefully he doesn't have to have surgery in the offseason. Like, that kind of scared me last night after hearing that. It's like, elbow, that's never good. Is this going to be Tommy John? Is he going to be missed next year? Reports are out that the news is fairly good, and so it doesn't look like it's Tommy John, but still concerning. But you have him, you have Tyone, you have Naga. If you have Wicks, there's one more spot that you could possibly go out and get a dude to fill that. What I would love to see this offseason, if Cody Bellinger opts in, is that you go get a solid starting pitcher, top tier starting pitcher, and you go get yourself a closer, an elite closer. Make a trade with the wealth that you have in your minor league system. Go get Clase, and I don't care who you have to give up. He's the best closer in baseball. Like that, like thinking about all that talks last offseason about us getting Clase, like, and then he leads the league this year, and he just is absolutely shoving every single time. He shoved it down our throats 3 straight games.
And it was after he had played in 2 games the series before. Like,
yeah,
just every night out there.
Like that, like I know sometimes bullpen guys are finicky, but that's like the mid-tier guys. Like the top tier guys are usually like, they might falter 1 out of like 20 games, but they're going to be rock solid for the majority of those games. Like, yeah, we need to go get a guy like that dude in the pen to finish out games. But I will say our bullpen has been rock solid.
Yeah, we left 8 men on base in the first 3 innings.
Yeah, I just saw that pop up. Holy smokes. And Skenes still pitched 5 innings. Like, I thought he was going to be out.
He threw almost 100 pitches.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised they're letting him pitch that much. But
you can kind of see it's a reflection of like kind of how the season's gone.
Yeah.
PA tonight, 0 for 3, 3 Ks. Last time he faced Skenes, he was 4 for 4 on that game. Tonight he struggled. Skenes made the adjustment on PCA and got him 3 straight times. But we need PCA for us to go. Like he's kind of like the last month he's been our best player, hands down our best player, and he does so many things. Like last night, not getting the force out, like his speed caused them to, when they're trying to turn a double play, not get that force out at second because he beat the throw, and then he ends up scoring on Hap's hit down the line. Like it's those little things that PCA does. Like he's doing those things. He's not, when he strikes out 3 times, doesn't get an opportunity to get on the base pass and do what he does. Like it only hurts our team. You have Horner again, 0 for 3. Like the first inning, I think I tweeted out, I would kill right now to have the 2023 Horner up to bat right now. Like I would have killed to have that guy, but it isn't the Horner. It's I'm going to hit the ball on the ground to the second baseman. He's like the second coming of Jason Hayward.
Yeah. And he, at the beginning of the season, Horner seemed to be hitting for power, like trying to drive the ball out of the field, which is not his game. Especially not
his effect.
Yeah. And it's just kind of one of those, he's not looked himself almost the entire season.
I will say what's sad is that Michael Busch's batting average is down to 249, which is lower than Nico Horner's.
What?
Yeah, he had been so hot for like
the OPS is a lot better. It's 766 for Busch and 676 for Horner. So OPS, what they're actually producing, I mean, on base plus slug, like Busch has been more productive, but Dansby Swanson's batting average a month ago was
189.
Like 189. Now it's up to 237.
It was under 200 a month ago, and I'm like, cripes.
So he's made adjustments. Tonight he got a base hit. I mean, it seemed like there was a stretch where he was getting hits every single night. Last night he had a home run. Like he's kind of figuring out. We just need it's with anything. It's consistency. Good teams win because they're consistent. What was it? I was listening to. I've been on this Michael Jordan. My kids and I were watching the Last Dance because I wanted them to see what hard work and what determination. So we started watching
what good basketball looks like.
Yeah, just what putting in hard work and wanting to have that killer mentality of no, I'm going to do whatever it takes to win, and I'm going to work my butt off on improving and getting better. So we're doing that. And so, but we were looking up stats there was a 2 or 3 year run that the Bulls did not lose more than 2 games in a row for 3 straight years.
Wow.
Yeah.
They play a ton of games too.
82
games. 82 games, but because Michael Jordan, they would never whatever would happen, they would correct it. Then they wouldn't go on stretches. They were just consistent.
Yep.
And so it's that. It's the Cubs need to learn some consistency. I mean, let's say the Cubs come back and win this game. The last time Skenes pitched, they made a huge comeback and came back and won. And they held the 3.5 games back. The Cubs would have to go on another. How many games do they have left in the season? Can you?
I think it's 22, not counting tonight.
22.
21, not including tonight.
21. There's a doubleheader on the 13th.
Ooh, they
no, wait. Sorry. Wrong date. 22. So let's say they go.
So. Yep.
Let's say they go 16. They win 16 games. So that's what? 6 losses? 16 more wins would put them at how many win total for this year?
They are currently at 71. So 87.
87. Like, which we kind of said 86, 87 would get them in the playoffs.
I said it was going to take 88.
So 16 wins. And let's say the Braves and the Mets, which the Mets have a pretty tough schedule going forward. The Braves have a kind of easier schedule. But let's say they go 12. They win 12 games.
Yeah, Braves would be at 86. Both those would be at 86.
That would be the one game that you would need. Because right now, the tiebreaker, they both have the tiebreaker over the Cubs. So they need to be one up on them. So the Cubs need to win 16. And if the Braves and Mets both win 12 in the next month, the Cubs make the playoff. But that's almost having to repeat the month that they just had when they were 18 and what was it? 18 and 8 this last month.
Yeah.
It's almost like repeating that and staying this hot. So could they be the worst team in baseball for 2 months and be the best team in baseball for 2 months?
Anything is possible.
Yeah, this game is wacky, man.
They gotta get off the schneid tonight, though.
Yeah, they do have to get off the schneef.
And
the what?
The amount of that this season has been a repeat of last season has been pretty frustrating.
Yes.
Like last season, we had 2 months where we were the worst team. It was just separated by a month, but we still had a stretch of 2 months where we were bad baseball. This one, we decided month of May and June, we'd be the worst team in baseball, never scored any runs. It'd be boring. And then put together pretty good baseball and then put together one really good month.
Right. Oh, man. And I'm just looking ahead at our schedule. We've got the Yankees, the Dodgers, and the Phillies all in there. And we play some really horrible teams too.
The Phillies at that point,
should be resting people.
But that happened last year when we played the Braves, and we all know how that turned out.
Yeah. Yep.
Jeffrey, yes.
How long's Ethan Roberts been on the team?
A while. He hasn't pitched a lot.
Okay.
But he's been on.
Did we trade him away a couple seasons ago?
No, he got hurt.
No, he got hurt.
He got hurt? Okay.
Yep.
All right.
I'd forgotten about the glasses thing. The glasses that he wears. But
I don't think he had that tattoo sleeve.
I don't think he did either.
I think he did. I think I remember him having tattoos. Anyway, we're 33 minutes. I don't want to go too much longer. 16 wins. Get that in your head. 16 wins, and Braves and the Mets can only win 12. And we're in the playoffs.
So remember, Cubs fans, when you go to bed at night, you pray for 16 Cubs wins, and you pray for the Mets and the Braves to lose a lot.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. Make sure that you're checking out the On Tap Sports Network YouTube channel. That's where we're on every Monday, Tuesday night, depending on what's going on with our lives. And check out the Cubs on Tap podcast as well, because they're covering the Cubs. They're awesome. We're friends with them. They're part of the On Tap Sports Network crew as well. And go check them out on Twitter. That's where we're interacting with most of our fans, and go check them out there as well. But thanks for listening, and go Cubs. Make this dream a reality, Cubs. Let's play some ball.
16.
All right. Thanks for listening. Go Cubs.